Welcome into the Baylor postgame show here on 365 Sports, Signal 365. Paul, Catalina, Brian Etheridge, and of course, Jacob Wilson here with you. Baylor wins over Kansas 35-23 and made a game that should not have been interesting, super interesting late, but did score at the end to put some distance between them and the Jayhawks, and the winning streak continues, although the margin of victory shrank this time. An average margin of victory in the 12 games leading up to this, Brian, of 48-11. This was not that. Kansas is certainly a better team. I do wonder, and I think Baylor fans should be relieved that Jalen Daniels was not playing in this game, because he's a bad matchup for everybody, but yes. I think for this Baylor team, he's a particularly bad matchup. Jason Bean made mistakes early, and Baylor capitalized. Should have been 35-3 going into half, but before we dwell on the negative, the positive is that Baylor took a game into control for at least most of it, when they have not done that in quite some time.
This team is as Jekyll as Hyde as I've ever seen a team be. They do some things so great. The offensive line looked incredible today, probably played their best game, and then they don't get the 4th and 1. I think there's some debate on the spot on the 3rd down and the 4th down there. When you go back and look where the ball carrier was, but they didn't get it. But the rest of the game, they put 273 on the ground. I mean, Richard Reese had 186 yards, the career high, 31 carries. So they did some very good things there, but then they just turn around and do the things you can't do. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have interceptions. You can't have those things like that. You can't throw the ball against your body against a defense like this that takes chances. And that's what happened today. And there were a couple throws that, Blake Shapen would want back. Obviously, he'd like to, I thought they would have had some more ball security there, but again, gets stripped and almost gets another touchdown returned on him. Instead, he made the play this time and got the guy down. It was just slower defender. Yeah. So he was able to catch him. So, again, not really going to dwell on that negative, but it's just something that you just watch. You're like, wow, that looks really good. It's the Baylor team we know from last year, and then all of a sudden you're going, oh, it's the Baylor team we knew from 2002.
Well, I do think that there are some good things, Jacob. One of the biggest things is that you heard Brian mention there, Richard Reese had 30 carries.
Yes.
So, and they're going to need him to pretty much do that the rest of the year. Quaylon Jones has become, they know what he is. They know what they get from Quaylon Jones. So he's not going to be, and they don't want to give him the ball 30 times. I think you might be asking for some trouble there if you do that. But he's a guy who can come in and contribute, because, again, who knows how long Squirrel's going to be out. Tay McWilliams appears to be
a pretty decent injury.
Pretty
yes.
decent little injury that he's got there. And so it's going to be a while, but you have a guy now who can be a workhorse, and they're really going to have to lean on him down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. They I have to fix that. They absolutely ran the ball very effectively today. Quaylon Jones, 71 yards, averaged 7.9 a carry. It was very reassuring to know that there is another option that they have with an already great Richard Reese running the football.
Yeah.
Reese had 6 yards a carry on 31 carries. That's phenomenal for anybody carrying the ball 31 times. And I agree. But at this point, are they only down to 2 running backs on the team at this point? Yeah. With Squirrel out, Jenkins hasn't played at all this year. There has to be an injury there we just don't know about. And now Tay McWilliams has missed. This is essentially the 6th game, because he was hurt in the first quarter of the BYU game and the second game of the year. And so that was one of the first carries of the game when he got injured. So we haven't seen him for almost 6 games, which is across 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's something that it has to be worrisome. You start worrying, is this a season ender or a career ender from a concussion, or what looked to be a concussion? I can't really say if it was 100% a concussion. It could have been a broken jaw for all we know at this point.
Yeah. By the way, No Spot, which is a weird name to have on YouTube, but No Spot says, can we just play one game clean? I'm gonna do you a favor, No Spot. This team is not that. No. That's not who they are. They are not going to, because they don't, this is the first game where we saw them have kind of a clear offensive identity in a while. And maybe a little bit against West Virginia, but the clear offensive identity. They don't really have a defensive identity right now. It's just kind of go out there and try to stop the play. There's not that attitude, that intensity that they had a year ago. So because of that, don't sit there and think like, oh man, this is going to be, like they did to West Virginia last year, where West Virginia came into Waco and Baylor just physically pounded them into the grass and took them apart. Right. That's not going to happen. That's not what kind of team this is. And that's, well, I don't want to say that's okay, because you'd rather have a better team. But in the Big 12 this year, you just need to get it how you can get it. Yeah. And they got it today. They're 4-3. Overall, they keep, they keep pace with a possibility of getting to Arlington. I think that needs to be in the back of everybody's minds until everything else comes back to Baylor. But they did what they had to do today, because if they had lost today, you got to start wondering about where the wins are going to come. Because look, Lubbock, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Baylor are in this same kind of clump together of, they're not going to blow anybody out, but they're going to beat some teams and they're going to lose to some teams, and you're not really going to be able to figure out why it's happening either way. But Baylor is the best of those three, but they do have to go to Lubbock, a place, Brian, Baylor fans
nightmares
hate going. They don't win there.
No, it's Mountaineerville on the plains.
It's the same. It's the same thing. They just don't. The road games that Baylor drew this year are places that most people either don't win, have a hard time doing, or historically Baylor's not great at. So West Virginia, Lubbock, Norman, and Austin. Austin's the one where they have the most success, and that's just because of the fact they've played them the most there.
Correct.
So it's history is a powerful thing.
Here's the other one, though. K-State has to come to Waco, and K-State, for some reason, Waco is the worst part of K-State.
Exactly.
So can Baylor, Baylor controlled the line of scrimmage today. They only gave 56 rushing yards. Can they do that against K-State? Can they do that against Texas?
K-State, that's a very interesting question, because they've got a quarterback and a running back who are phenomenal at running the ball. And my prediction for this game, though, I thought that Devin Neal was going to have himself a day because of what Tony Mathis did last week. And Baylor corrected that error on their defense. They made sure to take care of the running game. Devin Neal, I think he only had 32 rushing yards. And they gave Jason Bean, like they said, hey, Jason Bean, if you're going to beat us, you've got to do it with your arm. And I don't know if that's necessarily the best strategy defensively, but that is what they game planned and executed, and they came out with a victory. And they got a victory, but we're still not really reassured on how we're going to do going forward.
Yeah, that's true. All right, you know what we should do, though? To celebrate our sponsors and a victory, Jacob, come up here and grab one. I don't care if you come in a frame or not.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. We're going to have a Three Nations Brewing, one of our fantastic sponsors. You see, that's them right there. Right there. Three Nations Brewing. We're going to crack an ice-cold Texican.
It is a solid Mexican lager. This sucker is...
That's very good.
Been having them all day today for the tailgate.
That is...
some of my favorite new beers he's got there.
That is quite delicious. That is excellent from Three Nations Brewing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's a smooth, easy pounder.
254-339-1122. Already got a call. Let's see. Okie dokie. Let's go to Matt in D.C. You are on the postgame show.
Hey guys,
Matt. Go ahead.
How's it going?
Doing great.
Going great. Beer smooth.
Yeah, man, so happy to win. I'm in a good mood, but I'm, like y'all were just saying, very concerned, especially Lubbock. Haven't won there since 1990. I first got to apologize. I didn't get a chance to call last week. I was trying to get out of the blue lot in traffic, and the vibe in the car with me, T-Rex, and Steven from Virginia was just like not a time to we just want to call in. So I apologize for that. I always like to, face the music, whether we win or loss. Anyway, great win. The offense is, I think, like you said, the offense, we know what we're doing. My biggest concern, and it just pisses me off, is if we can't cover anything, why not send some blitzes? Because this zone defense, guys are just wide open. So if that's not working, and it hasn't worked in 6-7 games now, why don't we go man and maybe send a blitz every once in a while? If we're going to get picked apart, we still got a pretty good shot of maybe getting the quarterback. And when you saw him scramble, he was off his game. So, can y'all give me an answer on why we're not sending a blitz, or is it just the way the defense is? I don't get it, man.
I've heard from several people that because of some of the limitations they have in the secondary, they're not really doing what they want to do in the front seven, and they're still trying to kind of piece that together. And here's the thing about blitzing. If you're going to do it, it's got to work. Otherwise, you're almost making things worse. Phil Bennett used to tell us all the time, when you blitz, someone's band's going to play.
Yeah. And I think that something on this team, as we've seen, Spencer Sanders burned this team. Jason Bean has the legs of Spencer Sanders, but doesn't quite have the arm of Spencer Sanders. Jaron Hall at BYU also did some similar things that Bean did, but he, again, has a better arm. Bean is a quality quarterback, was a starter last year before Daniels came in, but you want to keep him in the pocket. You don't want him using his speed and getting his escapability like Spencer Sanders showed against Oklahoma State. If Spencer Sanders didn't have the 75 yards of rushing against Baylor in that game, maybe they don't win that game.
Well, I mean, okay, let's fast forward to Tech next week, right?
Correct.
So in Lubbock, if Tyler Shuck is playing, I would think they might dial up a little bit more pressure because he hasn't played that much.
Correct.
But if it's Donovan Smith, you may want to sit back and let him
or is it
make
Baron
a mistake.
Morton?
Right. What about Baron Morton?
And if it's Baron Morton, you kind of have to. He seems like he can do both. He's
more pass than run.
But he kind of scares me a little bit more than the other two do. But Donovan Smith, like, I'm not going to dare him to run. I'm going to dare him to throw.
Yes.
With Jason Bean, you're going to dare him to throw, although he's probably better at that than Donovan Smith, in my opinion.
Correct.
But he does. Like, he takes chances. Like, there's passes. You watch Jason Bean all the time. It's like he kind of gets lucky on some because he trusts himself, and, that's fine. But you don't want to. What would have really burned Baylor early is they said, you know what, let's get after this guy. And then all of a sudden, those great drives you had or those great defensive stops you had. And look, this game, the vibe of this game changed when Kansas fumbled on their first play.
Yeah.
That took Kansas kind of out of it for a half. And credit to Lance Leipold that what he's doing is Kansas teams in the past have been like, well, the hell with it.
Yeah.
We ran one play.
Hey, okay. But
Good job, guys.
I have 66 points.
The effort is there for Kansas. I mean, I think that's one of the things we've seen is there's effort, there's talent, there's belief they're going to win. I mean, does anyone else in this room, in the chat, anywhere think that they're not going to get a sixth win somewhere?
Oh, they're going to get it. Yeah, and especially when Jay Daniels comes back, and I forget the running back number 20 who's a stud. Remember, Kansas these last three games has not, for 2.5 of them, had the dude who was making all the plays in Jalen Daniels and the other dude who was making all the plays. And their running game has completely changed in the last 3 games. It can change back in a hurry if those guys are healthy, especially Jalen Daniels, who just seems to, on third downs, find a way to happen. All right, No Spot had another good question. Thoughts on them not reviewing the 3rd and short and the 4th and short? The TV angle appeared to show terrible spots on both plays. Is that booth review only? I am surprised that, not that Dave Aranda did not make them look at the 3rd down one because, they're so used to going for it in a 4th, all that. Like, I'm surprised he did at least make them look because he can challenge that. That's a challengeable play. He can make them look. I'm surprised he didn't make them look on the 4th down. The 3rd down, not so much.
Brian, I think you were kind of agreeing with Dave Aranda not wanting to take another look at that, if I'm not mistaken.
No. I've seen I'm looking at the screenshots that someone posted on our board, and holy missed it.
Yeah.
Just completely missed the spots on 3rd down because the Kansas defender pulled Reese over the 6-yard line for the 1st down, and they marked him at the 7 or short of the 6 by 2 feet. And then there's video of Chapin with his helmet and the ball over the 6, and they marked him a full foot short of the 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Quaylon Jones got pushed out
now,
a 2 yards short. I mean, it's just horrible officiating.
I will say this, and we'll see, but here's the thing about that. It wasn't a great call, but that's why you make them. Even if you might lose that one, you've got 2 timeouts. You're winning the game.
Yeah.
You can seal it up then. I would have done it then because you have the timeout to lose, and you at least make them look. But,
I would have challenged it. I would have challenged the third down. The third down, he was over.
Well,
definitely.
I would have challenged one of them, but the fourth down, like after they just did that on the third down, if they did it again on fourth down, I would have absolutely.
I don't know what either sideline official was looking at to mark that spot. Yeah. I mean, I never saw them even looking at it. When you go back and watch the video, neither of the guys were looking down the line when they went in.
Yeah, wasn't a great spot. 254-339-1122. Call us, text us, get in the chat room. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, we'll wrap up more of this, look around to the rest of the Big 12, what's coming up. Oh, man, poor Syracuse. They had their moment. It looks like it's slipping away from them as they're down to Clemson 27-21 and former Baylor assistant Dino Babers. This is the postgame show. Sigum 365, 365 Sports. Richard Carr and his team are standing by the Bears in all sports this coming season, but Richard Carr's passion for football started many years ago when he was a trainer for the football team. In addition to his alma mater, Richard Carr also loves selling quality cars and trucks to his Central Texas neighbors. Whether you want the unbeatable GMC Sierra truck loaded with luxury and strong and tough for the workday, or the performance and ride of a Cadillac or Buick SUV, Richard Carr has an amazing lineup of vehicles for you. Stop by for a test drive, contact them online, or call and say Sikkim and you're immediately a VIP at Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. Find them at Highway 6 at the Imperial Exit or at richardcarr.com.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
TFNB, your bank for life, is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Three Nations Brewing Company has 16 different beers on draft with a new beer every Friday. It also offers 2 air-conditioned tap rooms, a large indoor beer hall, a second-floor mezzanine offering a great overview of the brewing company and equipment and patio where you can relax under the shade. Plus, you can now experience the new Three Nations Beer Garden Grill on our shaded patio. Grab a cold beer and enjoy a bite from our freshly prepared and delicious menu. Street tacos, quesadillas, freshly cooked burgers and dogs, and veggie burgers too. Nachos and so much more, all prepared and cooked on site. So come visit the award-winning Three Nations Brewing Company on East Vandergrift off I-35 in Carrollton.
Game Day Live on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, TFNB, your bank for life, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, Three Nations Brewing Company, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, Edward Jones Advisors, Ben Erlinson, Brad Wilson, and Cam Heathcott, and Bubba's 33.
Special thanks today to Three Nations Beer and this lovely Mexican lager that they have. Jacob, what's your view on this?
I mean, can we get some limes? Because it's delicious. I mean, for one thing, there's nothing like a good Mexican style beer when you have a little bit of lime, a little bit of salt.
I could
delicious.
pound these all day.
Yeah, I could.
I could.
It's going down.
Really, truly.
I'm probably about right here.
I'm about the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.9% alcohol. This is
goes down pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff right there.
I could sit at the lake with this for a couple of days or at the beach.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
pretty happy with this.
Three Nations, send as much as you want. We never know when we're going to get stuck in here for a while. So we got a couple road games in a row. So just saying. Just saying.
Is Levi of age?
I don't know.
No idea. Not sure either.
Yeah. I mean, we got Emery. Emery can take care of all the excess for us. So
he's when you're a college kid and you're not getting those reps. I mean, what are you even using your college years for?
Exactly. Yeah. You gotta get. It's good. You gotta get the reps in.
You gotta get your liver work.
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
Yeah. Look, that's the actual major at Florida State University. I can tell you, like, you might be saying, like, yes, I'm studying particle physics, but you're not.
I'm pretty sure I put Sammy Citrona's kid through school.
Second,
I mean, come on.
All right, let's go to the chat room from Aiden Pierce. Shapen is great over the middle in the short to mid game, but going deep often is not his forte yet due to both of his lack of experience and the lack of receiver experience. Yeah, there are things. Well, in this segment, we'll kind of get into the mud of this game a little bit, which was Baylor they're good. They're not like last year's team. I have no problem saying was great. That was a great team. They did great things on defense. They did great things on offense. They pounded people in the dirt. They didn't make silly little stupid mistakes. The little things were important to them. Not saying that it's not to these guys. These guys haven't grasped it yet. And we've heard Dave Aranda talk about it. Like they have not grasped that the little things are what makes the difference.
Who was the leading receiver today? Without looking.
I know who it is.
I do too. He took a step forward today.
Would it have been Hal Presley?
It was Hal Presley.
Yeah, Hal Presley.
39 yards on 3 catches. I mean, it's 13 a catch. That's pretty decent.
Yeah, but it's the things of – so Gavin Holmes has that fantastic game against West Virginia last week, and then he gets the dropsies again this week. And he's a sixth-year senior. Now, he is an outlier in that he is the least experienced sixth-year senior in the history of sixth-year players because of the injuries he's had. Mm-hmm. But he's still been here. He's still practiced. Those are the things you don't need to do. Ben Sims dropping a touchdown pass is something you're not going to see very often.
No.
But it is a symptom of the overall problem of 2021 Baylor made those plays.
Correct.
2022 Baylor doesn't. And then after you drop a wide open touchdown pass, nobody within the entire end zone of you.
Yes.
Not just your little area of the end zone. I think Kansas had one guy in the end zone, which was a defensive brain fart, unlike anything that Lance Leipold is going to deal with this week. And he dropped that pass. And then the next play, Blake Shapen throws an interception.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you walk a guy with 2 outs in a baseball game. You know what you've done? The next guy's probably going to get a hit.
Yep.
You know, that's just what you do. So you drop a touchdown pass. You've created an opportunity for a mistake.
Right.
Now, I know that's a really negative way to look at things, but it's the way that most coaches do is when you miss an opportunity, you create another opportunity for a mistake.
You capitalize on your opportunities, and that's what this team doesn't always do. They don't bet 1,000 on the opportunities. They don't bet 800 on the opportunity. They Manny Mendoza the opportunity at times, and it's just frustrating to watch. And I think that Jekyll and Hyde and going from looking great to looking like they'd never seen a football before is that
they've got to stop balancing out the great with the bad.
Correct.
So that in that drive, where Ben Sims dropped that, was preceded by the defense creating a turnover beautifully. I mean, just an intense, like that was a Dave Aranda, Ron Roberts defensive play right there. That's what it was. So they finally do that for you. And then you repay them by that.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing, the synergy that they are lacking. So it's
that.
It's right there. It's just like, look, the defense is a good thing, and you reward them with a good thing. It's kind of like a Christmas gift exchange. Like, everybody is putting in the same amount. You make sure, if I get you a gift certificate to a steakhouse and you give me a bottle opener, you're a problem. Like, let's all do the same thing here. They're not doing that. There's no synergy there.
Yeah,
Correct.
and like you touch on the Christmas gift aspect. Near the end of the first half, Kansas coughs up a fumble, and we go all along the Ben Sims drop, the interception. That's white elephant. That's not what you want.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I was trying to think of what it was.
Yeah. That's the oven mitt right there. Yeah. That's the oven mitt right there.
Or worse.
Yeah, that's the old oven mitt right there.
Thanks for the McDonald's toy. Yeah.
So they've got to stop. That's what they did last week against West Virginia. That game should have been a Baylor rout. They had the makings of routing West Virginia, but they would follow a good thing with a bad thing, and then they did that a little bit this week. Now, against Oklahoma State, it was different. They just played all bad and then all good and then all bad again.
Correct.
They need to,
the one thing about this was, though, I do think that Shapen is starting to trust those younger guys like Presley, like Baldwin. So you're starting to see him spread it around a little bit, which early in the year, it seemed like he would only go to Sims, only go to Dabney, and Baldwin wasn't around. So I think that is an improvement in his field vision, but there are still days where he's like, you know what? I'm going to Brett Favre it out there, and Brett Favre throws some interceptions, and I think that's who I always comparing to.
There is a good thing of having a healthy bit of fear, a respectful bit of fear.
Correct.
He trusts himself 100%, which is great. I think it would be better if he trusted himself 98%. Like, it's still really good.
Yeah.
If you trust yourself 98%, but you still have that little bit of not right now. That's where he gets himself in trouble.
Yeah.
And the receivers are looking like they are maybe noticing. And one thing that players have to kind of realize, especially in the transfer portal era, I think maybe young guys don't realize this. Well, if I'm not getting the ball, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And they just had Seth Jones and Josh Fleeks in the portal for maybe a lot of that reason. But they don't realize the other thing is you're not getting the ball because you're not earning the ball. And so now you've got an opportunity where you've got a guy that goes in the portal. And so if I'm Gibson, if I'm Jordan Neighbors, if I'm those guys who are not, if I'm Jalen Ellis, if I can get on the field, if I'm those guys right now, I'm trying to make hay while the sun shines, because the transfer portal goes both ways. Because a lot of times you can go to the coach and I can be like, hey, Coach Brian, I'm upset about not getting the ball enough, and I feel like I need to go somewhere else. And they're like, I feel like there's a better place for you called not here. And that's how it works.
The portal giveth and taketh away.
It does.
I mean, there are guys who do not find places to play after they go in.
Well, and the other thing about that is that you could go and make that threat, or you could kind of intimate that, and you could find out we're going in the portal to get a position anyway. So if you would like to give us a scholarship back so we don't have to do complicated math, thank you.
Threatening to leave a relationship's never something that's really ever worked out.
No, you have to either leave or don't.
Yes.
You have to leave or buckle down. And I think that this coaching staff took a big chance this year on offense, but not getting in the portal, because they did not do that this year. Now, a year ago on the offensive line and at wide receiver, they went and got guys that were huge contributors, some of whom remain on the team and still are huge contributors. They took a chance liking their guys this year. And they bet on their guys. And to this point, a lot of them have not delivered on that. But when you see a Josh Fleeks who moved to running back go in the portal, and he should have. And Seth Jones go in the portal, and he should have because of what his situation was. But you see those are opportunities for you now.
Yes.
And they're either you're going in the portal, or you're going to be just kind of a guy here, or you can contribute now. And they have guys I think that they are big on for the future. Monterey Baldwin, Hal Presley. And even though he doesn't get a lot of looks in the passing game, Josh Cameron is a guy that will eventually contribute to this team in that regard.
Yes.
And it's obviously they like him out there because he blocks well.
Yep.
So those are three guys that if you're in that wide receiver room, are going to be here next year and be a part of it next year. Well, based on the last couple of years, they only really like to use 4. Maybe 5. So if you need to be that 4th or 5th guy, or jumped up to be one of those top 3 guys, you've got 5 games after this one left to show them that you care. And, I think you're seeing that from guys like Neighbors had that great play today. Presley started to play a lot better.
I'm really excited about Neighbors. in his play, his electricity. I think Presley's somebody else that you're going to, I think everybody's going to be happy to see. And then we're still waiting, we're waiting on Armani Winfield to come out there. And I think that they're trying their best to keep somebody's red shirt on. Neighbors lost his red shirt today by playing. And that was probably due to Seth Jones leaving and Neighbors stepping up in practice in front of and getting that opportunity. And he showed what he can do. And he looks electric.
Yeah. I will say this. The other thing I think is about happening with red shirts, it's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to be pretty darn raw or on a roster that's pretty darn deep for them to use them because of the portal.
Yeah.
So it's there, but like I don't think people are thinking like, oh, we have a red shirt on this guy. Like, no, we better hope it works out.
Paul, you're talking about all these receivers, but like Blake Shapen threw to 8 different people today.
Yeah.
It's good when your quarterback can spread it out, but is it possible to draw up a game plan where you specifically try to get the ball to one of your guys? And I'm thinking of Monterey Baldwin here because he's the most electric playmaker they have at receiver.
Yeah.
Because if you can find ways to specifically get him the ball, defenses will take notice and start keying up on him, and then it'll open up the door for other guys.
It's a fantastic point, and I do think they need to get Monterey Baldwin more involved. And I think that the only way that they're going to beat teams like TCU and Texas down the stretch is if Monterey Baldwin has 5 to 8 touches in that game.
Yeah.
I don't think that they can get by with Kansas with him having 2 catches for 29 yards and a touchdown. They can do that because of everybody else contributing, but they're going to need him to have an 8-catch, 180-yard game in one of those games to beat one of those teams because they're good. They're good teams.
They are. And, I just got a text. Pour one out for the ping pong table at the tailgate.
Oh, the ping pong table's dead too?
The ping pong table is dead. Yeah. Somehow the wind took it, bent it up.
Oh.
No. Poor us.
That sat in here unused and getting dusty forever. So
yes, it did.
I feel like I knew it well. We'll come back, wrap it up after one more segment here. This is the Baylor Postgame Show, 365 Sports.
Did you know that Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness is a partner of the city of Waco? Did you know that we are open to the public? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness offers day passes to the public for only $10 a day, and we offer money-saving memberships. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness offers over 40 group exercise classes each week, including bar, yoga, boot camp, indoor cycling, and more. There are free weights, weight machines, TRX, rowing machines, stationary bikes, new treadmills, elliptical machines, and much more on the spacious weight room floor. Personal training available where you can be encouraged to grow. Sauna, whirlpool, tanning bed, and kids club. 17 tennis courts, 8 pickleball courts, youth and adult tennis and pickleball lessons. Waco's premier experience where you can help your mind, body, and soul. Visit our website at wacotennis.com. Call us at 254-753-7675 or visit us next to Hawaiian Falls on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
TFNB, your bank for life, is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
3 Three Nations Brewing Company has 16 different beers on draft with a new beer every Friday. It also offers 2 air-conditioned tap rooms, a large indoor beer hall, a second-floor mezzanine offering a great overview of the brewing company and equipment and patio where you can relax under the shade. Plus, you can now experience the new Three Nations Beer Garden Grill on our shaded patio. Grab a cold beer and enjoy a bite from our freshly prepared and delicious menu. Street tacos, quesadillas, freshly cooked burgers and dogs, and veggie burgers too. Nachos and so much more, all prepared and cooked on site. So come visit the award-winning Three Nations Brewing Company on East Vandergrift off I-35 in Carrollton.
Game Day Live on Sikkim 365 Radio is brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, TFNB, your bank for life, Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, Three Nations Brewing Company, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, Edward Jones Advisors, Ben Erlinson, Brad Wilson, and Cam Heathcott, and Bubba's 33.
Baylor keeps their homecoming winning streak alive, 35-23 over Kansas, and their Kansas winning streak alive now 13 times in a row, although it did get dicey in the third and fourth quarter there, where
it got within
5.
Well, that's 5. It was 5, yeah, 28, 23, yeah.
Baylor doesn't score on that last drive and give Kansas the ball back. They can go and score to win the game. So
yep.
They had to score when they scored at the end and did that. Mostly positive things, but you saw some of those negative things think up. Final thoughts, Jacob.
All right. I think that we saw that Baylor is more than capable of scoring, playing a little bit of defense, even got a turnover with that fumble at the very beginning of the game. I was on the sideline, and I was on the Kansas sideline, and I heard one of the people wearing blue and white say, "Oh my God, this is the worst case scenario to start a team or to start a game." And it really was, because in no time it was 14-0, but they let him hang around. And it doesn't matter if it's Bryles era, Matt Rule, Dave Aranda. It seems as though they always induce stress into whoever is watching, if you're a Baylor fan. And it's been different. And that's why I put in my prediction that I thought it was going to be a Bryles era stress inducer. But it wasn't a Bryles era. It was just a general stress inducer, because they didn't close it out. They had several opportunities to shut the door, and they won, but you're not really reassured on, all right, 2 more games to get to a bowl. Who are they going to be?
Yeah.
Who are your takers? And that my takeaway is that I don't know what to expect going forward.
Yeah. All right, Brian.
Yeah, it's again, Jekyll and Hyde team. Not sure exactly where the wins. Again, they could win every game. They could lose every game. It is something that the things need to be tightened up that are not tightened up yet. In the secondary, that still concerns me. The defensive line, you only giving up 58 yards rushing. That's a solid day. I mean, it's a great day. 56 yards rushing. I'm sorry on that. The offensive line looked great again today. And Kansas has held people down on rushing. They held Iowa State down. But Baylor came out today to pound the ball. They did. So that was great to see. And then you see the little things that just are like free points back to the other team. And that's what you just can't continue to have the turnovers and the free points. And that's the frustrating thing, because without that free points, it's 35-16. It's 42-16. And we're back to talking about what this Baylor team should look like. But they continue to do the little things wrong that give free points away.
Yeah. I told you I think the team was average. I don't think that's the right way to put it. You kind of corrected me. They do things that are making themselves look average.
Correct.
So an average team does a good thing and a bad thing, right? Mm-hmm. So they've got to stop doing those things to make themselves look average. And right now, look, they're slightly above average. They're 4-3. They were perfectly average at 3-3 last going into this game. They've got to stop doing those things. They've got to go to Lubbock at night next week, which is not going to be fun.
No.
And there's going to be a bunch of liquored up people chucking tortillas, saying words you don't hear in the Wednesday night prayer meeting. Like, they are going to be lit.
You have Jackson Mahomes out there on the sideline doing TikTok videos. I mean, come on, what else are you going to have?
You're going to have a lot of stuff going on at Texas Tech.
Fear the bell ringer.
That you're going to have to completely shut out if you're Baylor next week. And can they beat Tech? Absolutely. They can beat every single team on their schedule, maybe even by 2 touchdowns if they wanted to. But is it going to happen? There's such an ebb and flow of this team. They've got to flow more than they ebb. They have to do that, and they're not doing it right now completely, but today was a huge step in the right direction.
And do you think Joey McGuire wants to beat Baylor? Because I really think he does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look, for all the Baylor fans who got super mad at Joey McGuire for saying that there were more Tech fans in the stands at a basketball game and all that last year, that whole little faux Twitter controversy that popped up. Believe me, he really wants this one. He wants it. He's got guys in his staff that want it. It's been circled on his calendar since he took that job. Exactly. And they're going to be in Lubbock at their place. This is not AT&T Stadium anymore. And Baylor has to shake off years and years and years of history.
Correct.
Of poor play in Lubbock. And there was a reason that when the Big 12 and whoever set that up, State Farm, whoever it was, said, would you guys like to play in Dallas? Baylor said yes before the S was out in Dallas. Would you like to play? Yes. Wherever else. New Mexico? Absolutely. Alaska? Where do you want to play that game?
Roswell, bring it.
We'll crawl to wherever it is. Don't make us go to Lubbock because it was bad for a long time. And they've only been back a couple years now to that format. So we'll see what happens. It was a close game last year. It was a close game in Lubbock that they lost in 2020. That's what they're dealing with. So that's a big one next week. We'll be back here after the game. Well, Jacob and I will be. Brian will be in.
Yeah, I'll probably be in Dallas.
He'll probably be in Dallas unless he just gets bored and comes to hang out with us all day. It would be all night as well because it's a night game in Lubbock. But we'll be back here. We're back here Monday morning. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not yet. We certainly appreciate that you do. For Jacob Wilson, for Brian Etheridge, I'm Paul Catalina. Have a great Saturday, everybody.